Today's video is sponsored by ExMark, makers of professional grade mowers. So welcome back everyone, Mike here. It is a beautiful early spring day here in western Pennsylvania. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and the temperature's rising. All good news. This morning we're going to build an outdoor garden bench. Now I'm sure you noticed the title of today's video, $100 Outdoor Garden Bench. Had I built this a year ago, the title of this video would be $50 Garden Bench. As you and I both know, lumber prices have increased drastically. I'm not sure when or if it's going to come down, but sitting here in front of me is $100 worth of pressure treated lumber. I have 6 1x6s, 8 foot long, 1 2x6, 8 feet long, and 5 2x4s, 8 feet long, all pressure treated. So if this bench isn't too difficult to build and we like the looks of it, I'll probably end up building 5 or 6 of these. What we're doing here is we're preparing for a wedding this summer. Daughter Hannah will be getting married, and that's going to take place here on the property. So we have a lot to do to get ready for that. First and foremost, we need to finish our new building, get all the concrete poured. There's just a ton of things to do. But I actually work pretty good under pressure. I do. I look at it as kind of preparing for the 4th of July party. Each year we have a big event here at the house and have probably 300 or 400 people come over. So this will really be no different than that, except we're getting ready for a wedding instead of the 4th of July. Although we're just in the beginning stages of planning this wedding, we agreed the other night that we need some benches that will be used for the wedding, and after the wedding they'll be used on the patio at the new building. Okay, first step, we're going to cut the pieces for the seat frame. That consists of 2 2x4s at 54 inches long and 4 2x4s at 20 inches long. Alright, now we're going to assemble the seat frame, and keep in mind I got all these pieces here out of 2 8-foot 2x4s. Now I'm going to find the center of this seat frame, both front and back. This is 54 inches long, so 27 inches is my center. So you saw I marked the center here. These two are going to go right here. And what I'm going to do, put a couple of these scrap pieces in here to make sure my spacing's right, because the back support is going to fit in between these. So I want to get these centered up. Looks pretty close right there. You got all these moving parts, so I'm going to put a clamp on it, but not tighten it up completely, just snug it up a bit. Then I'll check it with the framing square, tap it around with the hammer, get everything where I want it, then screw it all together. Alright, I got it all squared up just the way I want it. It's perfect. What I'm going to do now is screw all 4 corners, make sure they're secure, and then we'll tap the center pieces exactly into place. I'm going to pre-drill all these. Just to keep from splitting these ends. These are 3-inch wood screws, by the way. Come up just Alright, I got all 4 corners secured with 3-inch screws. Now we're going to work on these center supports. Remember, this is just a piece of scrap wood right here to make sure my spacing is right. All right, we got the seat frame complete. All right, next step, we're going to cut 3 1x6s, 54 inches in length, 3 pieces. All right, I'm calling this side my front right here, and this is the back. Reason I'm doing so, this piece of wood right here looks a little bit better than the one in the back. Now, before you start attaching the 1x6s to the seat frame, this is an important step. You want to measure off 7 inches from the back and start here and work that way. That should give you about a 1-inch overhang on this end. So I'm going to mark 7 inches on this side. And 7 inches on the other side. So I'm going to put my first board on, right on that line. Then I'm going to put a little mark where I pre-drill the holes. I'm going to come in about 1 inch from the ends. All right, I'm going to pre-drill the holes, and then I'm going to use 2-inch screws for this. Now I'm going to go to the other side, opposite corner, screw that one down, make sure everything's lined up, and then do the rest. Alright, now we'll put the next board on. And we don't want to butt these right up against each other. We want to put maybe about a 1/4 inch gap. I'll put just 1 screw in this side here, and then go check the other side. Alright, so starting this first board, 7 inches in from the back, and leaving that 1/4 inch gap between each one will give you just about a 1-inch overhang. That's about 1.25 inches. That's good. Alright, next up, we're going to cut out the back supports. We'll need 3 pieces, 21 3/8 inches long, out of this 1 2x6. So this 2x6 that I used, it wasn't the best. It was kind of rough. You can see here, I had some big knots right here. But I only needed these 3 pieces that are 21 3/8 out of it, so I kind of cut around all this bad stuff. We're going to measure up 4.5 inches right here. A little line. Then up here, we're going to come in 1.5 inches. Then we're going to strike a line here. Then up here at the top, we're going to make a 90 right here. So just to review, up 4.5 inches, over 1.5 inches, put your line right there, and then put a 90 on that. And then we'll clamp her down and make sure it's lined up so you don't cut your picnic table. Now, we'll use this as a template for the other two. See, I got this bad edge right here, so I'm going to cut that out. Looks pretty good. Here's a little heads up to keep in mind, and we can kind of learn from my mistake. I measured from here to here 7 inches. This is 1.5 inches. That should leave me 5.5 inches of room right here, right? Which would allow for a 2x6 to go down in there. However, this 2x4 is actually 1.9 inches, and this 2x6 is 5 9/16. So I'm about 1/8 inch off. This will not fit. All right. So what I'm going to do is come up 4.5 inches and just trim this a wee little bit. Take 1/8 of an inch off of here, and it'll fit nice and snug down in there. They're all like that. I'm going to go a little heavy, a little over 1/8 of an inch. They look pretty good. Here in just a little bit, I'm going to give you a link where you can download the complete plans and cut list for this garden bench. I was looking at them just a minute ago, though, and keep this in mind. It was saying to take these back supports out and put your first 1x6 across the top here. I don't think I'm going to do it that way, and the reason is these are so tight the way they are. Because what they're saying is put those boards on and then put this in place. I'm going to leave these in here. They're not screwed down or anything like that. Put my first board on, make sure everything's squared up good, and then screw these into place. Yeah, this is going to look really nice. I just put them on there to kind of get an idea what it'll look like. I'll need to put a 1/4 inch gap in here, here, and here, and that'll bring that up flush with the top here. Alright, I got these boards on now. I still have to put a few more screws in them, but everything looks good. What I'm going to do now is come back here and pre-drill these, and I'll use 2.5 inch screws here and tighten up these back supports. Alright, next step is the legs and the handrail. I did make another slight error. It was an easy fix. These boards right here are supposed to be 51 inches, not 54 inches like these ones on the bottom. So what I did, I just cut them with a circular saw and finished up this last little bit here with a hand saw. And actually, it's not a bad way to do it. It gives you a nicer edge there. Alright, we're getting close to the finish line here. We're going to mark 16 inches on these legs. Right here's that line. I can put a 3-inch screw up here. And these ones will be 2.5. Right here's that line. Alright, now we'll put the legs on the other side, and then we'll lift it down off the picnic table and finish it up. We'll scoot it back a little bit. Now stand it up.
So you're just doing this?
Yeah, you ready?
You know there's a board sticking out there.
What do you think?
Very nice.
It's almost done.
Yeah, looks good.
Alright, I just laid these out and I used a Sharpie so you can see the lines. But you come over 4 inches, put a mark right there. From this end, measure up 14 inches, put a mark right there. Make a straight line there. Put a nice radius on the end here. And I'm taking this notch out right here, 3/4 of an inch. This one's the opposite for the other side. All right, if I cut that right, that's good. Well, there it is, the finished product. Actually, I do need to do a little bit more sanding on it, and since it's pressure treated wood, once it dries, at that point I'll be able to stain it. But I'm happy with the way that it turned out. I like the design. It's not a real big bench, but it comfortably fits 2 people. It was an easy build. I probably have about 4 hours wrapped up into this. I started first thing this morning, but then I had to run out for a little while and I got into a few other things. Finished up this afternoon, but I would say about 4 hours. Now, something to keep in mind, the plans call for 5 2x4x8. I actually only used 4 and I didn't forget anything, so I'm not sure if that was a typo or what, but the plans can be found. I'll put them in the description and I'll also put them right here. They're from Yellowwood, and they were pretty easy to read and pretty easy to build this bench, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. But anyway, that's it for today's video. I want to thank ExMark for sponsoring today's video, and check out the link in the description for ExMark Backyard Life. I think you'll like it. But like I always say, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like button, click subscribe, and share them with your friends. Thanks.